401ks are absolute scams.
Not all money advice is created equal. Today, I am gonna watch some clips from personal finance influencers, and I'm gonna give you my honest commentary about them. Real quick, so you know where I'm coming from, these are my financial certifications. These are my life experiences. Most importantly, this is meant to be educational in nature. I want you to see my thought process when I see money advice online so that we can help flex your own critical thinking muscles. Let's watch the first clip.
401ks are absolute scams. You're setting your money aside and you can't touch it until you're 60 years old, yet every single month of every single year, somebody else is making money off of your money just to have it sit there and do nothing. You also get a huge tax and a huge penalty if you want to take out your own money before you're 60. And even after you're 60, if you want to pull your money from your 401k, you are taxed at that point. So it's not 100% tax-free. The worst part is it gives you the illusion that you're going to have enough money in it when you retire at 65, when in fact the average American has about $235,000 in their 401k right now at 65 at the age of retirement, and that's enough to retire. If you want to have financial security in the future and be able to retire when you want with financial independence, the only option you have is investing in real estate. One rental property will give you 10 times more freedom than putting money aside every single month in a 401k, even if your work matches. Let me know what you think the best retirement plan is in the comments.
The first thing I thought of is just say 59 and a half. He rounded to 60, at least get the facts straight. But okay, that's besides the point. Before I get into it and dig into this, what is a 401k? A 401k is a type of retirement plan that you usually get through your employer. So 401ks are designed for money you don't plan to use until later in life beyond the retirement age of 59 and a half. Why were 401ks even created? To keep it simple, they were created to give workers a structured, tax-advantaged way to save for retirement, especially because Social Security alone wasn't meant to fully fund retirement. 401ks were also created to start shifting the responsibility of planning for retirement from employers to individuals. Pension plans are what some people have for retirement, but over time they've become more expensive and less sustainable. So companies have moved towards plans where employees are contributing to their own retirement plans and accounts instead of an employer guaranteeing income for life. If you think about shifts culturally over time, pensions worked well when people stayed with one employer and they stayed in one job for their entire career, for decades. That's why you still see pensions very common in government and public roles like teachers, police officers, firefighters, because oftentimes when people choose those professions, they're staying in those professions. Now, 401ks have some tax benefits, and the reason for these tax benefits is to encourage people to save in them. Because if there was no benefit to saving in an account that's locked up until you're 59 and a half, you would just put that money in a regular investment account or somewhere else. 401ks are used specifically for saving and investing for retirement, meaning, like I said earlier, money that you don't want until later in life. The idea is that you invest that money and then you let it grow and compound over decades, and depending what type of tax benefit you have, whether it is pre-tax or post-tax, that determines when taxes are paid. Now, the idea, like in this video, that 401ks are a scam is pure doo-doo. It's a myth. It's a blanket statement, and that's this guy's opinion. And I actually think it's scary to see this exact thought process go viral. So let me kind of summarize my understanding of why people are saying 401ks are a scam. So I think people are calling it a scam for these main reasons. Number one, they're claiming that there are high fees associated with having a 401k. For example, if your 401k is invested in a bunch of mutual funds, there are fees being paid to mutual fund managers. So people who say 401ks are a scam are saying that those high fees are going to eat up any of your gains. which is going to slow down your path towards building wealth. People who call 401ks a scam are also basically mad at the fact that the money is locked up until age 59 and a half, or in this guy's case, he's saying age 60, which is not true. And a lot of these people who are claiming that 401ks are scams are basically saying that the growth in a 401k doesn't beat inflation, which is pretty much false. It does depend on how it's invested, but it really depends on the 401k plan and what investments are available to people. Blanket claims like this, where it's just straight up, oh, 401ks are a scam, this is sensational. Let me tell you why I think this is misleading. One, it's misleading because there's kind of this like fear mongering that, oh, your money's gonna be locked up. But the question you should ask yourself is, if you are contributing to a 401k, what is the money actually for? Because you already know that you should really only put money in it that you don't plan to touch until age 59 and a half or later. The whole point is that it's going to lock your money up for some tax advantages and so that you have money waiting for you when you become that age. So I think it's beyond the point that he keeps making about it being locked up. It's like you already know that's the case if you choose to invest in one. And on top of that, there are ways to access those funds if you absolutely need to, whether those are 401k loans, hardship withdrawals, and other exceptions. Obviously, that's not ideal and not the point of investing in this type of account, but it's not completely untouchable. Now, in terms of fees, this guy said that other people are making money off that money, but that basically applies to all types of investing, even in real estate. There are fees involved, which is what this guy is pushing. So again, I don't know how strong that argument is. Because this is educational in nature, I want to point out what you should watch out for when you see a take like this, because these types of videos go viral. You're bound to run into videos like this on your For You page because sometimes they're so outlandish or so against the grain that they go viral because people watch them and engage with these videos. So what to look out for? Number one, a conflict of interest. Now, I don't know enough about this guy, but I do know that a lot of the people who trash 401ks are actually trying to sell you something else. And for those who are so gung-ho on real estate, like real estate investing, typically have an offer or something that they're selling to teach you how to do real estate investing to make the same amount of money that they made. Now, here's the thing. I have nothing against real estate investing. In fact, I want to do more of it into the future. I do agree with this guy that real estate can be a huge wealth builder for many people if it's done right. But he's talking about all these risks that come along with 401ks, but not mentioning there's a lot of risks and a high barrier to entry when it comes to investing in real estate. At the end of the day, I don't understand why a guru online would be telling you to pick one or the other. Because in an ideal world, you'll diversify your asset classes. You'll consider multiple types of investments, which leads me to number two. Another thing you should look out for is anything that sounds absolute. A statement he made was like, let me find it again.
And it's the only option you have is investing in real estate.
He said the only option. So that is a red flag. If somebody tells you that the only way to do this or everybody should do this, those are red flag statements. I think personal finance is personal. And if this was the only way to get financial independence, wouldn't everyone be doing it and wouldn't the stock market not exist? So I would just be careful when you see statements that are absolute. And finally, another thing to look out for specific to this video is what I mentioned earlier about something being viral. Because the more sensational a video is, the more against the grain a take is, the more likely people are gonna watch it because they're curious, which means the more likely it's gonna go viral. There'll be more engagement, more comments. Even if it's people arguing in the comments, there'll be more curiosity. So just keep in mind that just because something has the most views, the most likes, it doesn't automatically make it good advice. All right, let's move on to the next clip.
The thing that you're not understanding about achieving your goals is that you're waiting for the hack. You're waiting for that secret tip that's going to unlock everything and make this easier. I'm here to tell you it's not coming. I'm here to tell you that there is no hack, there is no magic secret formula, there is no Staples That Was Easy button to get out of debt or to get healthy or to get 8 hours of sleep at night. It is consistency. And I heard somebody on here say it's like Groundhog Day, and like that's what we're talking about here. If you actually want to achieve your goals, your life kind of has to become Groundhog Day. You're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. That's it. You are consistently going to the gym. You are consistently saving money. You are consistently putting yourself to bed at a normal time. And that's how you're going to actually change your life.
Okay, so I don't really follow her first 100K like that. Her name is Tori Dunlap, and if you consume any type of personal finance content on the internet and you're a woman, you've probably seen her at some point. I have seen her grow on social media over the last few years, so I do catch her content here and there, but I don't know enough about her to know what kind of advice she's giving. I do know that for the most part, she is a feminist, so she does a lot to empower women, so there's that, and I think that's a good thing. Now, this clip in particular, I 100%, 200% agree with. I believe that there is no magic hack that's gonna make you wealthy overnight. The same way there's no magic hack to make you lose weight overnight or do anything overnight. And anybody who claims otherwise is probably selling you something or just oversimplifying how money works. She said the word consistently over and over again, and I think that's the key. Building wealth is gonna take time, it's gonna require consistency, it's gonna require patience, and even if you do all the right things, it's often not gonna happen overnight. We all know, like I said earlier, the internet loves these quick fixes, these viral, sensational, emotional things. But if you really want to build wealth and have financial progress, it's most of the time gonna be boring habits that you build. Saving regularly, investing consistently, making day-to-day thoughtful decisions with your money. From time to time, there'll be bigger decisions to make, but you have to make those smart, smaller decisions in between. I like this video. I like what she said. You have to stop searching for a magic hack, especially if that's been delaying you from just starting. A lot of times I run into people who are like, I don't have enough money. I don't make enough money to save or invest. And I'm like, if you don't make enough money and you feel things are tight, now is exactly the time you need to start because you can't just keep waiting. You have to start now. This video, I'm on board. Let's look at the next one. And actually there's 2 videos here.
If you're regularly using your debit card for everyday purchases, that's a sign that you're financially irresponsible.
All right, I remember why I pulled this clip. I pulled this clip because I also found someone else's reaction to the clip, which is what I'm gonna play next.
Your debit card for everyday purchases, that's a sign that you're financially irresponsible.
Welcome back to everybody's favorite game show, Bad Financial Advice on TikTok. Today's candidate is Irv, who just told you that using a debit card is financially irresponsible. What Irv didn't tell you is this. When you use your debit card, you're actually using your own money directly from your checking account. So if you run your debit card and you make the purchase, it's because you can actually afford it. And that is financial responsibility. Sure, you can use a credit card for some things like rewards points or building your credit score so that you can get a better rate on a mortgage or a car loan or certain other very, very, very narrow situations. But using your debit card is the absolute pinnacle of financial responsibility. Don't listen to that post, okay? See you next time.
Okay, first off, I like how this guy has like, I don't know, his law degrees or something in the background. It's like screaming, I'm right, this dude is wrong. But let me get into it. Let me give you my take. So this first guy, Irv, in a quick 10-second video, he's basically saying you are financially irresponsible if you're always using your debit card. We don't have any more context besides that, so that's all we got. Then we have the guy reacting to this video saying, Irv is wrong, okay? Because it's the opposite. It's if you use your debit card, you are financially responsible, not irresponsible. So these 2 guys are saying completely opposite things. Let's see if you guys like my take. I think both of these dudes are wrong.
How could they both be wrong, Lisa? There's only 2 sides.
Well, let me explain. Like I said, we don't have the full context for the first guy. Talking about it's a sign that you're financially irresponsible if you're always using a debit card. But if I had to add some color to that argument, there are some legitimate downsides to debit cards. For example, fraud protection. If someone gets access to your debit card or your number, they're basically pulling money directly out of your bank account. And yes, you can dispute it with your bank, but the process is usually slower and there's usually less consumer protections compared to credit cards. So I don't know if that's what this guy was getting at, but that's my added context. Now let's go back to what the second guy said. He said that debit cards are the responsible choice because you're spending money you actually have, and because of that, when you use credit cards, you're being irresponsible. So in his world, debit card responsible, credit card irresponsible. And this is where I think he is wrong. So first off, like I mentioned, debit cards often offer weaker fraud protection compared to credit cards. And secondly, this is the bigger point, using a credit card does not automatically make someone irresponsible. Yes, there are irresponsible credit card users, but there are also plenty of extremely responsible credit card users who pay their balances in full on time, build their credit up, avoid paying any interest on their balances, get more fraud protection, and on top of that, get more benefits from using the card like cashback rewards, travel points, etc. So the reason I'm saying they're both wrong is because they're both partially right, both partially wrong. But the takeaway is your method of payment doesn't determine your level of responsibility. How about that? Your behavior determines your level of responsibility because a responsible person can use either tool well, a debit card or a credit card. When you see tips like this, you have to run it through the filter of your own situation. Only you know what your actual goal is. So I'll give an example of why the nuance matters. First guy's like, debit cards irresponsible. He didn't give us context why, but let's say your current goal with your finances is to credit card hack, to travel hack, to run all of your expenses through a credit card, but pay it in full so that you can reap rewards out of it. If that is your goal, then low key, it might be irresponsible for you to use a debit card because you should be optimizing your credit card. But let's say you are having trouble with overspending. You tend to rack up a lot of credit card and consumer debt and you just can't stop that behavior. If that's your issue, then you might be more aligned with the second guy who's concerned about overusing credit cards. In that case, maybe using a debit card or cash is responsible for you and using a credit card is irresponsible. Sometimes it's not black or white. These guys both have a point, but they're missing a ton of context. And the biggest piece of context that you can apply to anything you hear online is your own situation, which neither of these guys know. And I don't even know your situation. All I can help you do is build up your discernment so that when you see things like this, you can form your own opinion and you know exactly why. All right. Off my soapbox. Let's go to the last clip.
Okay, I need to make this video, but I might delete it because I feel like someone is going to say that it's controversial. I keep seeing videos of these TikTok like girly pop influencers who are like, I made $300,000 last year and like look at my Porsche truck, like follow me for more financial advice. And I'm actually specifically not stitching these girls because like I don't want anyone to feel bad or like feel like I'm attacking them because I'm not. I'm just saying like for everyone else who's not them, don't fall for it. If you made $300,000 last year, you should not be spending a third of your money on a car that is unnecessary, completely unnecessary. If you're lucky enough to be making enough money that you can put away for something like big, how about investing it? How about not spending a third of your money? And we don't even know if she's making gross or net 300K. If she's making gross 300K and she's spending 100,000 on a car, I can't, not in 2024. We have to be financially literate. Like we have to at least think a little bit about the future and not be like wasting money and then trying to get financial.
Okay, first off, I want to know, is she talking about like seeing like a dozen different girls do this, or did she see one girl do it and she's calling her out? Okay, I will say I agree with 95% of this clip. She's basically calling out a trend that we've all seen online, which is, look, I made this much last year. Check out my luxurious lifestyle. Look at my Porsche. And the concerning part, which I agree with her completely, is that it's those same people turning around trying to give other people financial advice.
Look what I did. This is how I did it. You can do it too.
Yeah, I think that's how we all learn from each other, is learning how other people do these things. But I don't think driving a Porsche, flexing your luxurious lifestyle online makes you financially literate. And on top of that, doesn't make you qualified to teach others about personal finance. So she alluded to a person making $300,000 a year, not knowing if that's gross or net. It's great that she knows the terminology, but regardless, spending $100K of that on a car is extreme. Now, we don't have the details. We don't know if this car was financed. We don't know if this person who made $300K last year has 20 million sitting in investments, because that gives you different context, right? If someone has $0 and in 1 year makes $300K and spends $100K of that on a depreciating asset, a car, that sounds and feels more financially irresponsible than a person who has a $10 million net worth, 300K in income this year, and then they spent a big chunk of that on a luxury car. Like, yeah, it's 1/3 of their yearly income for this year, but they also have other things going on to build their wealth. So context matters is what I want to point out. And that's the 5% that I don't fully agree with this video on, but I do agree with 95% of it. The other piece that I will say is part of my 5% of not agreeing with her is, until I know full context, it's hard for me to judge people. I don't know if that's my personality, but it's also just having a lot of empathy when it comes to finances. Because I've had years where I've made $0, but I have other wealth in other places that I've tapped into. So if I'm making zero amount this year, am I supposed to spend zero amount? No, I have to tap into what I have. So again, small little nuance out of what she's saying, but generally I get the gist, and I guess I would have to see the video that she is referring to, which I don't know where to find it. But in general, I do hate the whole,
look, I made X amount this year, and so now I'm a financial expert.
By now, if you've watched other videos of mine, you know I feel multiple ways about it. I feel that financial education on the internet is a great thing for giving access to people, especially those of us who have historically not had access to financial education. But where I do get concerned is all the misinformation and bad information out there, which is why I can't protect all of you from all of it. I just need to help you build up your skills of discerning what's good versus what's not. So anyway, I think that last clip is a good one to end on, because it's a good reminder that we should not take financial cues from all the people around us trying to flex, right? If you can just focus on your own habits, your own long-term plan, keep learning, but also keep vetting that information, I think you'll do all right. Let's keep building wealth, and until next time, peace out.